What's up, everybody? It's Levi from LeviLassick.com. Thanks again for joining me, and please like and subscribe below. This is episode 104 of my interview with Dr. Mike Andriano. And Dr. Mike Andriano was critical in my healing process. If you don't know, I had ulcerative colitis for 8 years until it nearly killed me in 2013. I lost 50 pounds in a single month. I was disabled. I was bedridden. I'd seen 4 GI doctors up to that point, but they had all put me on the same protocol, the same medication, and I wasn't getting better. I was getting worse and worse. And I was really fearful for my life. And I got lucky enough to find Dr. Mike Andriano, and he was the first doctor in the natural process that helped me cure my ulcerative colitis over the next year. I ended up seeing 5 different key doctors that helped me heal naturally. But ultimately, it's been 7 years now, and I've had 0 signs or symptoms of ulcerative colitis. I consider myself cured because I live a regular and normal lifestyle. And so in this video, you're going to learn about what really motivated Dr. Mike and what got him started in his natural path journey. You're going to learn about cell salts. You're going to learn about homeopathy and applied kinesiology, which are 2 methods that he implements in his practice every day. And so stay tuned. I think you're going to find the information in this interview very helpful, and we appreciate you joining us, and come check it out. Alrighty. All right, we are live with Dr. Mike Andriano
Hey,
from
Levi.
Chicago, Illinois. Hello, how are you doing, Dr. Mike?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good, yeah. So Dr. Mike from Chicago, Illinois, and just a brief introduction. I'll let you tell a little bit about your story, but just from my personal experience, of course, whenever we first met in 2013, I came in on my deathbed and literally, had to be helped into your office. I had lost 50 pounds in a single month and was bedridden at that point. I hadn't left the house in a couple of months. Actually, you were the first person I had left the house to see, other than the 4 GI doctors that all kind of gave me the same story. So, it was just very interesting. Got in there and met you, and I would say, really, I talk about there was 5 key doctors that really helped me over my journey that year, because it took me a full year to recover from that.
Yes.
Get back to 100%. But really, within just 2 weeks of seeing you, it was a 180. So you go from 2 weeks to from your deathbed to 2 weeks later, a 180 to on the path to healing, which still took me a full year. But you were a big part of that. And like I said, I had seen 4 GI doctors up to that point, and they all gave me the exact same regimen, protocol, medication. They didn't want to deviate from that at all whatsoever. And I wasn't getting better at all. And of course, all my lab work and tests and everything like that was normal, right? So they didn't have any suggestions or recommendations at that point, because all they knew was the protocol. So came to your office and met you. You started practicing in 1994, right? And
That's correct, yeah.
And I think you tell a story about yourself. You grew up with severe acne, right? And saw several doctors, and that didn't work. So if you want to kind of just give us a brief background on that and how you got into holistic medicine.
Yeah, so I had acne and did all the traditional regimens, and I ended up in probably 17, 18 years old, or 16, 17 years old. I was on antibiotics for a year, which helped. But at some point I started reading that some of these antibiotics could cause problems with my liver. And even with antibiotics, my skin wasn't 100% for sure. And so I thought, you know what, I don't want to keep taking these things. And my mother, looking for other alternatives and things we could do, she was at a health food store, and they suggested we try a supplement. And amazingly, within a month, my acne was about 100% gone. So, and that was without the antibiotics and everything else. So that always kind of stayed in the back of my head of what these things can do. And I got into chiropractic school, And when I got out of school, I started working with chiropractic and wasn't getting all the results that I hoped to get. So I had a little more interest in nutrition from bodybuilding and all that kind of thing, and what my own personal experience, and decided to start using some nutrition in the office and really started getting the results I was looking for. So I kind of went in that direction for the last 25 years, and I've learned a lot. And now my practice is, I'm still a chiropractor, but people come to me for things that are not chiropractic. I work with their herbal nutritions and homeopathy and nutrition, vitamin nutrition type things.
Mm-hmm. So when you, just to kind of touch on the acne real quick, do you feel like it was the supplement you took at the time, or did you also kind of change diet a little bit and kind of go?
At that time, the only thing we did different was the supplement, and it was pretty dramatic, pretty fast, and it was amazing to me.
Do you remember the supplement?
It was a cell salt for the gallbladder, and unfortunately, I've tried that with other acne patients, and I never got that kind of result. It was what was specific for me, which also kind of informed me in my practice that not every situation is going to be the same for everyone, and you need to really look at a customized approach. And the body itself is very complex, and there's a lot of different things going on at one time, and you really have to narrow it down to what's going on in the body. And aspirin doesn't fix every headache. It might fix some, but that's not always the answer for the headache.
Right. So cell salt, do you mean like a celery salt?
No, a cell salt is a type of homeopathic product, and they have them for different tissues. So it would be a cell salt for the liver, a cell salt for the kidney, etc. And homeopathy is a little different than nutrition. It's more, I say, informational medicine. It gives your body a certain signal that causes it to do something, versus nutrition is more on the biochemical level.
Yeah. Okay. That's funny you mentioned, I mean, that your story kind of started out with acne, because actually I had the same issue, in my teens. I had really severe acne and into my 20s and 30s. And whenever I met you, I was 33 years old at the time. And what I noticed, it definitely lessened over as I got older, but still at 33 years old, I was wondering, I still would get these, knots here and there, and they were usually like pretty hard knots. And
Sure.
But what I noticed was whenever I was sick and I lost 50 pounds in a month, and I clearly, my colon was so diseased from ulcerative colitis that I couldn't hold in any food or water. And I noticed during that time I had the cleanest complexion. I mean, even though it looked paley and I didn't look good, I was 10 shades lighter. And I just thought, well, there's no food in my colon. So for me, it was the connection, kind of like, okay, there's something I'm eating that could be causing the acne. And what I noticed was whenever I started to recover, I don't know if you ever know this, but when I started to recover, I was craving ground beef, like a lot of it. And I started eating a lot of ground beef, and that's just what I wanted. And I think my body just wanted that protein and fats and everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And but then I started breaking out again. And it wasn't until a year later, whenever I had moved to Pittsburgh and saw the third doctor in my regimen, which was Dr. Misak, and he got me on the blood type diet, which I'm an A blood type, which is the vegetarian blood.
Interesting.
And he talked to me about cutting out meat. And I thought, I'm from Texas, I grew up on beef and barbecue. I mean, that's what I know. That's what I do. And sure enough, when I finally made the choice to cut out beef, and within 30 days, I haven't had an issue since. And that's been 6 years now that I cut out beef. And so I think that was a big contributor to my acne problem, was I just not digesting the food properly, the complex meat, so that's, but yeah. So, okay. So going back to your practice a little bit, I agree with you 100%. It is, everything's, again, I understand, and I've heard you talk about this too, and I believe this too. I mean, if I get in a car accident, I'm going to go I'm going to go to the emergency room, right?
Sure.
I believe 100% in emergency medicine, but it just seems like whenever you have those chronic conditions or issues that you can't seem to clear up, it doesn't matter the doctor. Usually they have the same protocol, but here, you take a different approach. And so I had never heard of really applied kinesiology before I met you. So could you kind of explain that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So when I was in chiropractic college, I actually learned a lot about chiropractic. I was my history with chiropractic. I got into chiropractic because it helped me out with some things, and so I knew it helped me out, and I knew it sounded like a cool field. I could help people out, but that's about as much as I knew. And when I got to school, I got educated about what chiropractic is really about, and basically, it's the idea that your brain's communicating to the body through the nervous system, and the body communicates back to the brain through the nervous system, and any interference in that communication is going to cause some problems. So one of the guys in my class, his dad is a famous chiropractor that did applied kinesiology, and basically it's a way to assess how the nervous system responds to different stresses. So I took classes from him and learned how to do this particular technique. And when I got out of school and started working with nutrition, I was able to apply that technique to the nutrition. Basically what happens is in applied kinesiology, you're looking at, I call them circuits, but basically the nervous system is divided into different systems, and there's a circuit that applies to your liver, and a circuit that applies to your heart, and a circuit that applies to the kidney, etc. And you can access those circuits based on muscle testing, which is applied kinesiology. So through the muscle test, changes in tone of the muscles, you can determine if a system is working well or not working well. And then when you actually go to figure out how to make that system well, you can apply whatever treatment, whether it's a hands-on treatment or acupuncture or nutrition or homeopathy. You can see in real time how your nervous system responds to it and get that feedback and say, okay, well, this particular nutrition is going to help the liver work better, or this nutrition is going to help the bowel work better. And that's how I use applied kinesiology anyways.